Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show, a member of the Pod Bros Podcast Network. Go to podbros.com, listen to another podcast that is not quite as entertaining as the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. And don't forget to go to our website, bigjujitsu.com, buy a t-shirt, buy a patch. Also, there's going to be something new at the end. We're going to explain it. It's going to be on our website as well. So I'm Rob, the Lord Humongous. I'm here with Devin, as usual, my co-host. And, man, I think I might need to drop the Lord Humongous thing at this point, since we're scattered all over the place, man.
It might be a good idea. It might not be a good idea. I mean, what are they going to announce you with at your fight? You know what I mean? The Lord would be a fucking great nickname.
Well, I originally had Smiley as my fight nickname back in the day because Brian Mingy, who was on the show, I was jumping rope, and he's like, look at this fucker. He's smiling all the time. He's like, he's just so happy to get beat up. And I was like, well, yeah, I kind of am. So he's like, you're fucking Smiley. And it just stuck. And somehow it became the Lord Humongous through, I guess, years of ice cream eating. I don't know, but, you know.
So, it's all muscle.
Yeah, exactly. So today we have like a special guest on. We have James Hoffman. He's the owner of Trap and Roll Soap Company. And he's actually a pretty happening dude. So I'm glad he's on the show. This is a long time coming, man. So, James, how's it going?
It's going great, Rob. Devin, thank you for having me on the show. I listen to it religiously on my way to work at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm really happy to be here, and let's talk about some soap and some jiu-jitsu.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, 4 o'clock in the morning makes me hurt, though, just hearing that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But, so...
There we go.
Yeah, get them drinks in. That's how we are probably one of the more realer, can we call that even a word? Let's use that word.
Fuck yeah, we can.
Podcast for jiu-jitsu out there. So as usual, our guests will either be drinking, we'll be drinking, and we just say whatever the fuck we want at this point. So I think that's something we pride ourselves on. So those of you who cannot see the video, which is practically everybody except the three of us on the show right now, we're enjoying a couple of adult beverages that aren't coffee and tea. So there you go. But so now we got our extremely, extremely long introduction out of the way. James, how about you give us a rundown of how you've gone from a guy maybe just interested in doing jiu-jitsu to a guy who owns his own soap company?
Let's see. I started about 9 years ago and being military, just constantly moving. So it was hard making a transition and finding a new academy. And then I came to El Paso, where I'm at now for the last 3 years. And I've been training here. I like it, but we had a problem with the combatives room on Fort Bliss, and there was a whole entire ringworm was running amok, and I had made contact with a lady that I was buying soap from. I won't say her name, in Las Cruces, and I had like an interest to make it, but I wanted a different demographic, and that was like a jiu-jitsu demographic or a grappling athlete demographic, if you will. So I talked to her, and she said she would help me out. So I drove 45 minutes up there to see her one day. And I was like, hey, it's me. We talked about this. And she said, oh, yeah, I'm not going to help you. So
she's like, thanks for driving. Fuck you. Get off my property.
Yeah. But she goes, and I brought my friend with me. And she was like, but you can buy soap from me. And I was like, yeah, sure. So my friend bought soap from her. And then the whole entire way home, I was like fucking skeeving. And I got home and I was like, man, I can fucking make this shit. Like, this can't be that hard. And kind of is, but it kind of isn't after a while, and fast forward, like, I had a friend from I'm originally from Massachusetts. I had a friend from Connecticut, and she and her mom own her own soap company for about 20 years.
Wow.
So I just called her in the car ride home, and I was like, I need to do this. And that's how Trap and Roll Soap Company basically got started. It was really scary because we were working with fly, and I didn't have a respirator, and they were like, "Don't breathe in the fumes." I was like, oh, "Yeah, I guess that works." So yeah, so that's basically how I started, and we've become official probably within the last 2 months, man. Just handing stuff to friends, the body wash and the bars, as Rob, and people just, the feedback has been good. I made some tweaks and stuff, but that's basically how I've how we evolved into a company.
Awesome. I'm not gonna do like this. Oh, we randomly had James on the show because he had it. James was nice enough. He did send me some soap, and it is really, really good. Like, I know there's a lot of competition for soap out there. It seems for like the natural
Yeah.
soaps, especially like for grappling too. But dude, this soap doesn't make me feel like I should like have like a really long beard and wear suspenders and shit and drink craft beers and call people asshole and just be annoying as fuck. Like it's actually really good soap. And dude,
I was
like
just
that.
thinking the same thing. Like all those guys that use those like we'll call them craft soaps for the sake of the podcast. So everyone knows what we're talking about. They're the
Artisanal.
same motherfuckers that are trying to find like the crazy ass name beers and wearing the shoes that nobody knows the name of the brand and all that stuff. Is exactly what Rob was saying. Is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like the same asshole that who brings a fucking record player to Starbucks to listen to music on his headphones. Like that guy needs to get beaten with a stick.
Uh, it's like being in Greenpoint, we can say hipster, right? So,
Oh yeah.
we're, I would say, I'm from a blue collar background. I've been a blue collar, working class kid since I was young. And my dad also was a blue collar. So that's who I kind of want to like put my focus on. And yeah, man, like it's not like we're living in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, driving a Prius and talking how bad we're killing the environment as we're drinking an $8 latte from Starbucks. And it probably wouldn't be Starbucks. It would be some like micro roaster that only gets their beans from Guatemala that elephant shit out or something.
Right. I got
Yeah.
a question real quick. All right. Oh, go ahead, Ross. Sorry,
No,
man. I
no,
didn't mean
you
to
go
cut you
ahead,
off.
dude. Go for it.
All right, man. So, um, I don't think this way, but there's a lot of people out there that when they think of like a soap company, they're like, "Oh, I mean, how much money can you fucking make from soap?" So I'm not asking this in a way to make it seem like belittle it, because I think that's awesome. I think anyone doing that kind of shit, especially with this specific thing, with from the name to even you and your background, is fucking that's sick as that's it's hella cool. So what is your like goal with it? Are you looking to expand with it, or how it like are you just kind of doing this right now as far as like you want to help people out and do it as like a hobby, or what are you looking for? Just curious.
Man, I have a business plan. But to be big, man, it doesn't really appease to me. I guess that's not even really the right word, but it doesn't
Oh
really.
no, it is. Everything's the right word on here, man.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it like if I can help somebody from getting ringworm and not feel like not pay $20 for an artisanal bar, man, then that's the way that I want to go. I mean, I thought longer, further on down the line, like, you know, detergent for geese, so there's a big picture for me, but you're right, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a luster of love. There's not really a lot of money in soap. And if you see like other companies, they sell a lot of other stuff than just soap. And that's where they're making most of their money from.
And I didn't mean to make it seem like I was trying to do like I was saying there's a lot of people
Oh,
that
no.
think that way and I think they're assholes, so fuck them. And I think it's
Yeah.
sick what you're doing. What I was curious about was more like that too. I liked how you went into that side of it just a little bit, even when we were saying you wanted to like help people and you're doing it because you love doing it and it's obviously related to jujitsu, so that's cool. No, I think it's awesome. So I was just curious if you were going in with it, are you gonna use it to maybe like do you have other plans pretty much outside of this little startup that you're doing?
For the company is what you're asking? Yes.
Yeah, maybe branches and sister lines and things like that.
Yeah, I haven't really. So the bars right now are based off places that I've been stationed. So, and I got probably about 5 more bars coming. And Rob and I already talked about one, which is probably going to be pretty funny. Uh, so I haven't really thought about like a sister company or a parent company or any of that stuff. Like I don't want to sell to like Walmart or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I would rather do like an e-commerce thing. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I haven't gotten that far with it yet, man.
That's cool though. No, that's still cool, man.
It
Thank
is.
you.
I think it's something that's kind of interesting now is with jiu-jitsu and MMA. Maybe not so much MMA, but jiu-jitsu, I think we're starting to see this. It's a lot of people doing maybe these startup companies, right? And they don't have a good plan or a good product, which is not the case with you because I think it's amazing like how it's going.
Thank you.
But it seems to be like almost we're hitting that point of where some people are going to try to make the quick buck off of a growing sport to
Yeah.
do it. Like I've run into a couple like the company I talked about before was Endo Athletics, where he seems to just like I've heard nothing but bad stuff about him. And it seems to be he just wants to make this clothing company, have people pre-order a whole bunch of stuff, and then once he has all the pre-orders, make it so you order something and you get it like 4 months later.
Yeah.
But it's just like a way to make quick revenue. Allegedly, that might be what he's doing. It might not be, but at the same time, like there needs to be like I just see this almost trend of a lot of people like, oh look, I've made a T-shirt. It has skulls and crossbones and a guy getting choked out and tribal tattoo shit all over it. Right? That's great.
Dazzle.
Yeah.
But like to see somebody who's actually doing something where it's well thought out, where it's something that actually helps people, and you're not doing it because you're saying, shit, well, I can make a ton of money off of these jiu-jitsu suckers. It's like, I want to make money because, well, not make money, like I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. It helps the community, and money is kind of like the secondary thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got 3 jobs. This is it's kind of side, but I feel like maybe in the next 5 years, Devin and Rob, it'll take off. I mean, the bars last maybe like 4 weeks, so maybe once a month I'll have somebody purchase another bar. So it's for the love of the sport, it's for the love of the art, and I always wanted to be an artist and I can't draw for shit, so I figured I'd make fucking soap, and all I can think of is like my idiot brother, like we want to own a candle shop up in upstate New York, and we'll have a box that says I used to be a candle, so we'll have that with soap maybe someday. I don't know.
Yes.
If you get some jiu-jitsu candles, I'll definitely buy. Like, oh my god, that's how I know I'm getting domesticated. Like I used to be this fucking wild man, right? Like used to be in a ska band, used to be like this hardcore punk rocker, like all this shit, and then like fast forward to I've turned 30 and I'm sitting there saying, man, I like Yankee candles and standing outside in Home Depot. I sent a picture to my friend. I said, fucking save me. I'm actually debating on what set of flowers to buy for the backyard. Like I can't deal with this shit, man.
Wouldn't that be some crazy like sense though? If you had like jujitsu candles, it would be like new gi, like washed mats, like haven't washed your gi in a month. That shit would be crazy.
God damn, dude. Fucking
But the new gi one would smell like mothballs. I'm just gonna point that out. It's a big paper Pakistan, so yeah.
I don't know if I could get behind a gi that hasn't been washed in a month one. That's just straight up like pretty much be like an old cat piss candle is what it would smell like.
Yeah, I mean you'd have to call it like the Grundle candle or some fucking crazy thing like that.
You'd call it that guy is what you would call it.
That guy. Oh fuck, dude, that would be the instant mood killer if you brought a lady over or a guy, whatever. You brought somebody you're interested in over to the house. Let me light some candles, set the mood real quick. It smells like a fucking cat pissed in your house 3 weeks ago and you can't find where it was.
Total buzzkill.
Couldn't deal with it. Could not deal with it. So with how has your reception, like you started it locally, so would it be, did you go to your school and like say, hey, try this out, or were you just kind of just throwing it at people, or was it just straight off the bat people are like, let me buy that shit, I want it right now?
No, man, I wish. I was like, hey, I got soap, and people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. Just like lemonade for 10 cents, and they're like, no, I ain't gonna buy it. So all right, but yeah, no, I started with a cold process bar, which I learned the lesson of it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to cure, and I was like, fuck that. And so I went to body wash. So I was given like samples of body wash, like 3 or 4 ounce bottles, stuff that I could find around the house that was already pre-used, and I'd wash it out and shit, and then give it to my buddies, and I'd be like, all right, give me feedback, and they're like, it's great, and I was like, that's it? And they're like, oh, I was, it's jujitsu, guys. I mean, it's like fucking rock and hammer, like fucking Neanderthals. So sometimes, and but yeah, I started locally, and then I had a guy that actually is the first place that I put in here, which isn't a jiu-jitsu studio, which is kind of weird. It's a yoga studio, and he trains with us. And he's like, he had a lot of skin issues, and I was like, dude, just try this bar. And I gave him the bar, and he used it for like a week, and I was like, how's it going, midweek? And I check with anybody that buys my stuff. So, if it's on Facebook, if I could find you on Facebook. And I was like, how is it? And he's like, how many you got left? And I was like, I got 8. And he's like, give them to me. And I was like, all right. So he
Oh
bought me out.
shit, nice.
And then I made the body wash, and I kind of passed that out to everybody. My buddy John Milan, who is he works for Origin Geese in Maine, the only American made ghee. I sent that to him. And he gave me some feedback too. And then I went to the bar, which is the Chuco bar that you used, I think, last night, right, Rob?
Yeah. It's weird how like intimate you are with my showering habits. Like at this point, it's fucking strange, man.
I'm sorry, but I like
That's
to keep
funny.
I like to keep up with people that buy stuff with me. So he bought a bar, and I was like, let me know how it goes. And after a week, he's like, hey, I want to put it in my studio. So he bought 15, and I brought it over to the yoga studio, and it sold. I think it sold all 15 bars in like a day.
Wow.
And these are like yoga practitioners, not jujitsu guys whatsoever. And then he's like, I get a call from him. He's like, I need you to come pick up the money and resupply me. And then it picked up from there because I posted it on Facebook. And then another guy from the west side, because El Paso is split by 2 mountains.
Yep.
He contacted me, and he's like, dude, I'd love to put your product in my gym. His name's Jesse Briggs. He's a black belt. He owns Briggs MMA. And I was like, yeah, sure, dude, whatever you want, like buy my stuff, please. I'm broke. So he purchased that stuff for me. And he started selling it out of his academy. So like the support, man, and it wasn't me asking anybody, it was people, just showing love and good vibes, and just, it kind of, it's what jiu-jitsu is about, man. It's about helping people out, learning, whether it's learning or, trying to start a company. And, when they tell you that you have a good product and they support you, man, that means a lot. So I think I answered the question. I don't know.
You totally did, man. No, you're right. It's all about the vibes, man. It's like you can tell people who are very sincere about their products. You can tell people who are, like you said earlier, just like, oh, I'm here to make a quick buck off of these suckers. Like, oh, these guys love jujitsu. Oh, look, I made a T-shirt with this. Oh, dude, I can't even think about it. There was one. Oh man, that's what it was. There was this one promotion. I don't even remember the name of it. And I saw the banner. I'm like, I'm not fucking going anywhere near this shit. It was 2 pictures, like split in half, right? One of them was this, I guess the best way to describe him was like a Viking. Big beard, like heavy set guy, clearly in the heavyweight division. Let's just put it that way. Chain around his neck, like Rampage Jackson, holding, I think, like an empty keg above his head with MMA gloves on and shorts and screaming. And then the picture next to it was this dude who's in good shape, faux hawk and fucking eyeliner on. And this just pissed me off for some reason. I have no idea why it made me so mad. And I'm just like, you're hitting like all the demographic, all like the stereotypical demographics of MMA in one fucking picture to promote this fight. I was so angry. I've never been more angry at a picture in my entire life.
So what you're saying, it was Tank Abbott and Jared Leto on both ends of the spectrum.
If
right?
Jared Leto did like a couple full cycles of test, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was pretty much Tank Abbott and a super jacked Jared Leto. Oh, I'm still angry. This was years since I've seen it, but you're hitting like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, let's draw people in because it's the big thing, and this is definitely going to hit everything. Like, oh, look, here's the guy who looks like he can fight, and then the guy who looks like he's in shape, and then I'm gonna make like an easy $20 off of him. No, people give a fuck. Like your product, you give a fuck, and that's what makes it successful.
I think it's cool that me and Rob talk about this not regularly, but we on more than one occasion. How there's people in jiu-jitsu that they believe it's a really good sport, and you can't deny that. But then there's the people that do things other than jiu-jitsu, and those are the people that we always think are the doors and the vehicles to pretty much grow the sport. So like you were saying with your soap, you put in that yoga studio and these different places. Those are pretty much opportunities right there for people to be like, oh, the soap comes from like a jujitsu guy or it's meant for people to do jujitsu, like, oh, I wonder what that is. You know what I mean? So I think that's awesome when people do shit like that. It's always I don't know, helping the culture in general rather than a bunch of fuckboys going to tournaments looking like hipsters and like butt scooting and shit like that, you know?
We got fuck boys out here, bro. But yeah, it's definitely a bridge. It's definitely a bridge. I own a gym. It's an Olympic weightlifting gym too. It's called Valhalla Barbell, which is ironic because Rob just said he didn't like Vikings.
I did
but
not
it's
say that shit. I said the dude. Like if I imagined like a Viking back in the day said, you know what, fuck it, let me try MMA and then modeling at the same time. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. So I apologize for offending your gym.
No, you didn't offend me. I don't care. Yeah, got real thick skin, homie. Yeah. Like it's definitely a bridge, Devin. Because I was like a yoga studio. Like, how is this going to be received? And I don't know. Have you seen the logo? It's a luchador. I don't know if you've actually seen the logo, but
I looked at a few of them on Instagram.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, and people were like, "Oh, this is a cool logo." And I think the bad part on my end is I like delivered the soap, and then my buddy who also trains jujitsu works the front desk. He's like, "I'll just stay and hang out for a little bit." And you're watching people go over and pick it up and look at it, and they'll be like, and then they put it back, and you're like, "Oh man, come on, just buy it, please."
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible, dude. It's the same feeling like when I look at the shop for the store and it's like, you've had 300 clicks on the store today. I'm like, outstanding. How many sales? 0. I'm like, fuck, man. But speaking of which, listeners, please buy a t-shirt. Keep us on the air for free. There you go. So give that plug real quick. But so in your martial arts journey with traveling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so you was it started with combatives or how did you get started?
So my buddy Aaron Harrell, he's actually he's SF and he lives out in Tacoma. I was hanging out with him one day and he's like, "You should really do jiu-jitsu." And I'd come from I played rugby in college. I played hockey all my life. I still play hockey here in El Paso. Yes, there is ice. And he's like, "You should really do jiu-jitsu." So I went to Robert Owens School in Olympia. And I remember walking through the door and seeing this bald dude with all these tattoos and sat there for maybe 5 minutes. And I was like, that's fucking Jeff Munson. And, yeah, the snowman. But I didn't. So I went to Robert's school and I started there, and then I was there for maybe a couple months and then I had to move. You know how it is with the military. You're always like PCSing. And then I went from Washington to Missouri to Leonard Wood, which was horrible. There was an ATA. No, it wasn't a Taekwondo school. Hold on. I know you're a Taekwondo guy.
Yep, sure am.
Maybe it wasn't ATA school, but he was repping jiu-jitsu. So I show up and I got my gi on and the dude's like, "We don't do gi here." And I was like, okay, so it's a no gi school. I was like, "Are you guys like 10th Planet?" He's like, "Well, we focus more on MMA," which is like all they did was they would set up it's like your thing. They would pay $20 to go watch a fight and these kids like beat the crap out of each other and it was really nothing. So I didn't get to train there. And then I moved to Germany. So I was in Bamberg and my wife was in Schweinfurt and I ran the CrossFit in Schweinfurt, functional fitness because the Army doesn't like CrossFit, whatever.
Yeah.
So I ran that and I met Stacy Bradley, who is BJ Bradley's wife. And then I met BJ Bradley and then he's like, "We're doing jiu-jitsu." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I got a gi," so, and then that was short-lived because we moved again. And then I ended up here in El Paso. So that's basically the brush over. But yeah, I did combatives in between that level 1 and level 2, in between those 9 years, maybe. So, it's awesome because you show up as a white, you get like 2 stripes on your white belt and you're like, fuck. But I missed this. I missed the time. I missed the spot. I went back to Massachusetts and I went and trained at Team Link in Worcester, which is like
Ooh.
15 minutes from my mom and dad. And I walk in, and I was a little portly. I had a really large beard and a fucking mohawk. And Gabriel Napawa Gonzaga,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
Gonzaga, him and Marco, I think it's Marco Alvan own that school. And I walked through the door, and in Portuguese, he's like, Roy Nelson? Because I guess I looked like Roy Nelson. And I was like, me? No, not fucking Roy Nelson. No, not at all. And I went there for a little bit and got my ass kicked. And then I moved to Germany after that and then did jiu-jitsu with BJ. So that was the segue. But yeah. And now I'm here. I'm here in El Paso. We've got a great team. El Paso's real small. I know you've been here, Rob. It's a good kind of close knit community. We all cross train with each other. There's no like hard feelings. So
I have a
that's my
question for
jiu-jitsu.
both of you guys really quick about this, because you guys have both trained in different places,
Yeah.
or multiple locations. So, and I'm guilty of this too, but you hear a lot of people from California say like, "Oh, California, it's getting better than Brazil as far as jiu-jitsu," and because it's really oversaturated here. But you guys go in different places. Do you guys feel like that stereotypes like holds true a little bit? Not California per se, but do you really feel like there's certain parts of the country where you guys have been, or anywhere, where the quality of uh, whatever you want to call it, jujitsu is higher than other places? Maybe there's more places are more secluded from the sport or whatever.
You can go ahead, Rob.
Oh no, you're the guest. You go ahead, because I've got
Uh,
my own 2 cents about this.
I don't know, man. Like they say that Rio and Rio's no longer Mecca, and Mecca is San Diego. And you know, in a grand scheme of things, jujitsu is jujitsu. It's whether or not you learn something. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm part of the BJJ Globetrotters. I don't know if you know what that is, but I've traveled all over basically the world. The last place I was in Florence, and I trained with a couple of Globetrotters in a garage, and it was the best time I've ever had because I didn't speak Italian, and then after we went out to dinner. So, I mean, maybe competition wise, yeah, San Diego's got it going on. You got Barnum, you've got Otto's. There's probably 1,000 others that I can't name, but I feel like I'm not a I'm not a world champion by any means. So I don't know. My perspective on jiu-jitsu might be a little bit different. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, for sure, for sure. I think because the way I feel, just really quick, not to go in depth too much about it, is just more so. I feel the same way. I feel like if someone's good, people are good and they train hard, they're going to be good anywhere. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
But there are some times when I do hear that where people will be like, "Oh, we're from you know, wherever in the United States, and man, we don't have good training." Because people come to our gym all the time here, and they're like, "I'm from here, and it's not like the same." Not to plug our gym, but you know what I mean. What do you think, Rob?
I mean, it all depends. It's like a lot of the environment kind of helps shape how jujitsu is trained, in my opinion. And you can have guys who are, the big fish in the little pond, and people are going to go to them if they want jujitsu, and it's going to dependent upon what the guy wants to teach. That's kind of how jujitsu is going to be in that area. But there are some like way out there, middle of nowhere schools that can produce some very badass people, but it's just they're out in the middle of nowhere. So you can say like San Diego's the mecca, and that's great. I agree with it because there's a million jiu-jitsu schools out there, but there's also a ton of tough guys in Virginia and North Carolina, and like anywhere there's going to be a big population, you usually have a real tough jiu-jitsu school out there that you can train at because it's just pulling from the talent of the area. If I'm set up a gym in hell, I don't know, like bumfuck Egypt, fucking Utah, and I have 3 guys show up, we're gonna be probably the best 3 guys in jiu-jitsu in Utah, but there's nobody else there really to test us. So not a lot of people travel there. So it's just the way the cards fall, and they're not wrong, and it's not bad that they train that way, but I think there isn't much difference if you're learning the art itself as opposed to like some people will just pick up and move and go to a school. Like
Yeah,
Like I'm, I'm from North Carolina. I'm gonna go train at, I don't know, shit, Autos.
Yeah, Unity or Atos or AOJ.
Yeah, I could, but if I just grab a tough school and I put in the same effort that I would at like Autos or whatever, it might come out the same. But it's no one really can tell. There's so many what ifs in these situations, but it's just the way it
I,
is for me.
I guess it kind of goes back to iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
good people sharpen good people, and good skill sharpens good skill. You were saying like bumfuck nowhere. My buddy trained with. Hold on, I had to look it up. I can remember if it was Mark or Eric Fan. Eric Fan's school, like back in like 2000, and that's in Arkansas. Like it's pretty low key, but I'm pretty sure from the stories I remember, it was like a farm, and it was dudes rolling in sweatpants, the ones that have the pockets and the
yeah.
elastic at the bottom, and you can't be within 500 feet of a school. So those sweatpants, but like, I mean, Aaron Harrell, and I know he's gonna listen to this, like he started me on my journey, man. I got nothing but love for him, totally, and no homo, but he showed me, like, I mean, we were looking at VHS tapes. Like he goes, "Hey, check this out," and I remember like the DVD and the VHS tape one, and he's like, you had the combo, and he's like, "You gotta watch this tape, man!" Like literally a tape, and I was like, "All right, cool," So yeah, but I mean, anywhere, but yeah, Devin. I mean, like, whenever you see like AOJ, Unity, Barham, Atos, like everyone's like they're producing kind of world champions, but it seems like it's East Coast and West Coast. It's like Biggie and Pac, and
Yeah.
there's like nothing in the middle, But there is, especially in
How do you guys
Albuquerque.
feel?
Go ahead.
How do you guys feel about that as far as not having a lot of homegrown students anymore? How do you guys feel about a lot of people going to schools like that in general? Because I see that a lot lately. People picking up and moving, and they kind of leave their teams, which is fine. I mean, you do whatever you want, but you have a lot of famous schools who might probably didn't particularly grow their world champions per se. Not
Right.
that it matters, but you know what I mean.
You're talking about a school from Maryland, right? Is that what you're talking about?
There is one school from.
I was around
Hey,
there for
bro.
that. Oh man, it was good.
We won't say the name, right? But
Not at
yeah,
all.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know, man. Like it's yeah.
Pretty much. Do you guys think that's bullshit? Do you guys think that that's like almost like a I don't know how you say it. A lot of people call it sandbagging, but I'm just gonna call it out. I wanted you guys to give me the segment here, but I'm just gonna call it out, guys. I'm sorry. I think that's bullshit, guys. You could be loyal, you could not be loyal, but if you go to your school and you're saying like, I'm all about this academy, I'm all about that academy, and you've only been there for a year and you got your first three belts from another place,
Yeah.
you guys are definitely yuppies.
Yeah, or whether they say in Brazil, crianche, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, like for people, so in the military, it's difficult because I think some of the more painful memories I've had, aside from like losing family members, is straight up picking up and moving away from my jiu-jitsu school that I've become a part of,
Yeah,
and it sucks so bad because the first one you're like, I'll be back at some point. It's fucking 8 years later. I'm not, but you know, leaving there was hard. Then leaving my second school was even harder, and then like leaving this last one was even harder. So I don't know. There has to be some weird disconnect, or there has to be something else going on where somebody can just pick up and leave like that. That they have a falling out with the instructor. That the people there just kind of suck. I guess not like technically, but just they're just shitty people. That they have no issues saying, "Well, fuck this. I'm going to go to Atos and be a world champ and fuck you guys." And it may not be hard feelings, it may, but I don't know. It just strikes me as kind of weird that people could do that.
yeah. Go ahead,
no, I
Devin.
think it's weird too. No, I think it's kind of crazy too. I feel the same way. You kind of feel like you're actually getting close. You guys know how it is. You roll people every day. You guys see each other all the time. It's a really personal thing trying to choke your friend, right? um, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm gonna go here, and then a month later they're taking pictures with everybody like, this is my family, this and that. It's just odd to me. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me being old school and trying to be like the whole faith warrior and all this stuff, but it's very odd.
No, it makes sense, man. But uh, I think for like Rob could probably agree for like the military, man. It's like the hardest. Like sometimes when you leave the school, you're like, it's like that kid in the back of the old station wagon, like pressing his hand to the window and like waving goodbye to his girlfriend, and you're like, fuck, man. And then it takes a little. It's a transition period, but in the military. Hold on, Rob. I'm gonna hit you with this. Ready?
No,
You
you're
got to
good.
be
You're good.
resilient. You have to be resilient.
Fuck you. Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't. My personal views do not reflect anything in the U.S. military. There you go. All right, go on.
Anyways, moving on. Sorry, and mine also. So, but you got to learn to adapt,
Yeah.
but you have a lot of good memories with those schools, and with the invention of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tinder. I mean, Twitter. You can keep in contact with those people. That was a joke. I don't have a Tinder account, anyways. But you can keep in touch with those people, and you're still invested in their life, because think about it, man. We spend I don't know how many days a week you train, but if you train 4 days a week, man, that's we train about 2.5 hours on a given day on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then 2 hours on Saturday for open mat. And you spend this time and you're involved with these people, and you see them grow, you see them have families, you see that you go to their kids' birthday parties, you support them, and then just to pick up and move, man, sometimes it kind of breaks your heart, but you kind of have that bond, through jujitsu. So I don't know. Yeah.
No, you're
No,
right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I completely agree. Like for you guys, it would be even harder because there are times when you guys don't even have a choice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not like you're picking up to leave on purpose. And there are times like where someone might get a little bit of a douchebag in them, and they just decide, you know what, I want to be the best in the world, so I'm gonna leave all my friends and everything like that and go to a school 8 hours
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, and then they're fucking still terrible at jujitsu because they're focusing on the wrong shit.
Right.
Like,
It's about the journey. Sorry, Rob. Go
no,
ahead.
you good, man. Like, there was a guy in Arizona. Not gonna mention his name. He was not part of our school, but he had changed schools a couple times, and I imagine it was kind of that weird seeing your ex-girlfriend at the party you got invited to, and yeah, he still was not winning. So changing schools doesn't necessarily help. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink type thing. You can drop somebody off at, he can take privates from Keenan Cornelius or Tim Spriggs or whoever and still be fucking terrible at jujitsu because they're not going to focus on it. They're going to focus on some other shit.
Yeah.
Get that Instagram game strong, Hashtag no days off. Well, I mean, you got to fucking train at some point to not have to have a day off, I suppose. So
All their hashtags turn Portuguese and they have acai in every other picture.
oh,
They
fuck.
start dropping the H instead of the R. Yeah, I got it. Cool.
Dude, you're from
Bro,
Georgia. How do you have a Brazilian accent? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh man.
All right, so now's the time. James, you're our first
Jesus.
guinea pig. All right. So something Devin and I have talked about. Trying to make the podcast a little more fun, try to get our guests a little more involved, and excuse me. So we're gonna have trivia. We do trivia.
Ooh.
We're starting it, and there's gonna be a running list of champions. So hey, good news. You're number one right now already.
Yeah.
So you're at the top of the list. 10 questions.
Okay.
Right? 10 questions, 5 of which MMA related, 5 of which general knowledge related. Okay?
Okay, let's do this.
All right, so let's begin. We're going to start out with the MMA stuff because that's what everybody wants to hear about, right?
All right.
So, let's see. Let me pull up my questions. All right. Here we go. Here's an easy one. Here's a little softball pitch. Hopefully you get. Forrest Griffin defeated which fighter in the final of the first season of The Ultimate Fighter?
Stephen Bonner.
Ding, ding,
That
ding, ding,
is correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we will add the sound effects in after the show. Very good.
Suck it, Trebek.
That's right. You wouldn't know that if you didn't have the damn cards in front of you, Trebek. Good, 1 for 1. Not too bad. All right, so second one, probably one of the more infamous quotes from George St. Pierre. And who was George St. Pierre not impressed by at UFC 63? As in the I'm not impressed by your performance. That famous one. Who was he not impressed by?
I don't remember, man. Can I get a lifeline?
No. This is just straight up you. No phones, no nothing. Just
I just watched that documentary too, not even that long ago, maybe like a month ago. Fuck. I know the dude talked a lot of shit, but I can't remember. I don't remember.
don't remember?
Hold
Wild guess.
on. Nah, I pass. Fuck.
Oh God.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
I said, I'm sorry, man. I was sorry, man.
Oh, all right. Well, good job, then. All right, so 1 for 2. Not too bad. All right.
Who was it?
It was Matt Hughes.
I was about to say Matt Hughes too. Fuck, dude, I'm an idiot.
You're all
Anyways.
good, man. It's all good.
I fucked up your question for you, man. I should have give you that one more. Say, yeah, tip of your chin.
He's a bow hunter.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, so which former light heavyweight champion appeared as a special guest referee with TNA Wrestling?
I'm horrible at MMA. That's on TV, right?
It was. I don't think it's around anymore.
Oh, light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight champion was a special guest referee with TNA Wrestling.
I'm an embarrassment to my country. Oh man. Yeah, I don't even know.
3 seconds.
What year was that? Can you give me a year?
Nope.
Oh, fuck, man.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I quit.
Is Tito Ortiz.
Oh,
Really?
that was a hard one, man.
That was actually a pretty hard one because nobody gives.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, nobody gives a shit about TNA Wrestling, so we'll just go ahead and say that.
Bro.
So that was a pretty tough one.
I didn't even know. I didn't know TNA was a thing. I know the WWF, which is now WWE, right?
Yeah, it blows my mind how they did that. So
okay,
fuck.
But I know Jenna Jameson and his twins are probably really happy. Moving on, fuck him. I mean, not for him. If you're listening, I'm sorry, Tito.
All right, here's another little easy one. All right, which former UFC light heavyweight champion stars in the 2010 film The A-Team as B.A. Baracus?
Seriously, Quentin Rampage Jackson.
There you go. Good job.
Hold on. Ironically, we just fucking talked about this at the unit today. That's
no shit.
Creepy.
There you go.
Really... Anyways,
all right, last one. You ready for one for the MMA portion? Here's another good one. Which UFC Hall of Famer is also a former WWE Intercontinental Champion?
Lesnar, but he's not a Hall of Famer, is he? It's not Lesnar.
Is that your final answer?
Ken Shamrock? No, let's go Lesnar. Who is it?
It was Ken Shamrock.
Oh. I figured he wasn't a champion, because he was living in a trailer outside of Walmart, teaching kids grappling lessons before he fought whatchamacallit, Hoist Gracie.
Oh yeah, of course. You gotta get your money somehow, right? Well, that was like the break. Like after the UFC, he was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna go be a pro wrestler." Got done with pro wrestling, went back to UFC, and well, we all saw what happened. All right, so our 5 MMA questions are out of the way. Now we're gonna move on to some general knowledge stuff. So, first question: what author created the character of Tom Sawyer?
Oh Jesus! Oh, I just flashed back to AP English 2000. It's fuck. He's got a mustache.
He does.
Twain, right? It's Twain.
Yep. Correct. That is Mark Twain. You are 3 of 6 right now. Good job hitting for 50%.
I flash back to Peter Griffin on the raft.
Oh yeah.
That's literally where I went, bro.
Oh,
that's literally where I went.
That is pretty hilarious. All right, here's a tough one. How many years after the American Revolution ended did the French Revolution begin?
Eight.
That is incorrect. It is actually 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
you
was
were pretty
close,
close. That was good. Hey, it was good. Real good.
Yeah. What year was the French Revolution?
Oh, well, if it was 6 years after, it was 1782, I believe.
Yeah, 82.
There you go.
Yeah, because I grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mayor Menino. Failed you.
Anyway. All right. Third question, random or just general knowledge. What yard line must a football team drive to reach the quote-unquote red zone? That means they're within scoring distance.
I believe it's the 15, but I played rugby. I never played football. I don't know. I got Apple TV, bro. I don't watch sports. Let's say the 20.
That is correct.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Very nice.
Because it's the 22 yard. It's the 22 drop for rugby. So I just figured, we'll subtract 2.
So we're still hitting at 50% here.
That's right.
Not too bad. 4 out of 8. Let's keep it going. Ooh, this will be a good one if my sister's listening. Which TV series was set in Walnut Grove, Minnesota?
Wings, right?
That's incorrect. It's actually Little House on the Prairie.
Oh.
Damn it.
Yep. So
that was an easy one. I'm just fucking around.
Dude, my sisters fucking love that show, man. They'll oh man, they fucking watch that show all the day.
What was that guy's name? Michael what?
Oh, you talking about the guy? Oh, god damn it, what was it?
Yeah, now I stumped you.
Hold on, I get it. I got it in a second. I got it. No, what's terrible? Michael Landon. And the only reason I know that is because the lyrics from Christmas Time in Hell from South Park, because it was the same dude. Michael Landon's hair is looking well. It's Christmas time in hell. There you go.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. All right, so last one. What U.S. city is home to Mile High Stadium?
Really? Come on, man. Denver, Colorado. Get out of here.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Go Pats. Go Pats. What's up?
Good. So, James,
2016. Anyways,
you are currently in first place of our
16%.
Yep, doing pretty good. So no worries there. We will have you on the website. In fact, under bigjujitsu.com, the tab up top that says Trivia Champions. So go there.
I was really hoping you were going to get them all right, so we can send you the big $10,000 check and do the whole spiel where you show up at your door. Maybe next time.
Publisher's Clearinghouse?
Jiu-Jitsu's Clearinghouse. Big Jiu-Jitsu's Clearinghouse.
Yeah, you get a $10,000. It's a giant check that you can't cash. It says $10,000 on it, so I'm sorry. There's real no monetary value to it. So
very true.
It's like 10 points at Chipotle.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's a free burrito. Fuck that. You can have that.
There we go.
All right, so hey, James, before we head out, why don't you give us some plugs? Let us know where you can find you. Give some shout-outs. Go for it.
All right, man. Hey, you can find us at Trap and Roll Soap Company on Facebook. We should have a website here in a couple weeks. Find us on Instagram at Trap and Roll Soap Company. Tank the Drifter. Let's see, who do I want to thank? Briggs MMA on the west side, El Paso Jiu-Jitsu competition team, Justin Gonzalez, El Paso, Palash Kilcarney at Casa de Yoga, John Milan, Pete Roberts from Origin Gis, man, they always hook me up, and they're great dudes, man. It's the only American-made gi, totally American-made gi, and it's a small business too, man. You know, like 6 people that cut, sew, and weave. So let's see what else. Yeah, that's about it, man. I can't think of anything else.
Cool. Well, definitely go check out his soap company. It is amazing. I really do like their soaps. Definitely got anything for the listeners before we head out?
Guys, you guys already know where you can find me. I just got on Periscope, so go ahead and follow me on there, and I'll give you guys some more information about Big Jiu-Jitsu if we are not on the podcast that particular day. Also, everything's I Am Symphony. You guys already know that. Also, something a little bit out of the ordinary. I just want to give a shout out to a little lady who, I just want to get to know Mackenzie Dern. If you're listening, hey, let's figure it out and let's just try and link up.
I'm not going to go through again and talk about the creepy guy, but Devin is totally not creepy and pretty good looking dude. So I think Mackenzie Dern needs to get on that real quick. So once again, I'm Rob. No nickname right now, Austin. Please go to bigjujitsu.com. Listen to some of the other episodes we've done, as well as buy a t-shirt or a patch. And don't forget the Big Jiu-Jitsu show is a member of the Pod Bros Podcast Network. Go to podbros.com. Find yourself a show that you might like that is not as cool as Big Jiu-Jitsu, but it can substitute when we don't have an episode up that day. Like I said, I'm Rob with no nickname, and we'll catch you all next time.